this.
Episode 2. Turn of the Golden Witch. Good morning. The Golden Witch eagerly awaits your arrival. Please do grant her that wish. Were you able to get a good rest and perfect your strategy? The witch expects a lot from you, and is more than ready to launch an assault right from the start. I also look forward to seeing your strategy. The difficulty level is extreme. The witch intends to make you surrender all at once.
Let's get it. Assault right from the start. Yeah.
Welcome to death camp.
I want to get shanked by Beatrice. I'd say thank you.
I will not cast that spell.
Good.
The story is very obviously fictional and fantastic in nature. Any resemblance to existing individuals, organizations, location, or incidents is entirely coincidental.
Japan is
Del's
just a
new land.
coincidence.
Disneyland.
Japan is a coincidence.
It's you, my buddy.
Oh.
Good old Shannon Chan.
Oh.
George-sama, please, look! They're so cute. Look, look!
Shannon found a pair of hammerhead sharks swimming playfully in the tank, and looked as excited as a grade schooler seeing an aquarium for the first time.
Fuck that outfit.
Fuck this scene. Yeah, they really are cute.
Kamatake Flash.
Almost made me want to eat them.
I feel so sorry for them. Did you know? I hear the Japanese are the only people in the world who go to aquariums and say how delicious everything looks.
I guess that's what that is.
Is that so? I'm sure even Americans and Italians would want to eat these. No, not really.
No, I'd eat them.
Those clothes look good on you.
Why'd you have to say it like that?
Really?
Shannon clutched at her chest with both hands in
I think
embarrassment.
she's like doing this.
She apparently felt like she was being made fun of for wearing these clothes she wasn't used to. Yeah, and that dummy hat.
I love that hat.
Though George's face didn't show it, he'd actually said something so completely unexpected that it surprised even him. And he was as embarrassed as Shannon on the inside.
Only internally.
However, when he saw how embarrassed Shannon was, he started to imagine he was teasing a girl he liked. You know, because that's not what he's doing, I guess. And instead of embarrassment, a ticklish amusement welled up in him. No, he wasn't just imagining it. He really was teasing the girl he liked. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Before now, he wouldn't have expected to hear a line like that anywhere these days. Not even in a manga or something. In fact, if he'd seen another couple acting like this, his first instinct would be to start throwing rocks at them.
What the
Holy
fuck?
shit, George.
He's such a little bitch.
But even if someone were to start throwing rocks at it...
Oh, that's George, you narrating.
But even if someone were to start throwing rocks at us now, I'm sure they'd be no different from confetti celebrating our relationship.
That'd be some beautiful.
Now, I can't even remember those lonely days. When I felt jealous of couples who were completely oblivious to their surroundings. To us, an old-fashioned phrase. These really are rose-colored days we live in. I'm so entranced that I barely notice that massive tank in the world's largest aquarium anymore.
What is the world's largest aquarium?
guess-
It's actually in Russia.
Well, this is in the 80s.
Well-
Might have been in Japan.
Actually, yes, Japan did have the longest one in the 80s because it was housed to create great white sharks, and they were the most successful in keeping them until the great white shark got too old and then died.
I
I guess you know things about that stuff.
I have
That's
researched it.
cool. Well, that's where they are then.
Perfect. Instead, all I see are the expressions flittering across Shannon's face as she plays with the fish.
So wholesome.
Dummy hat.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's my first time seeing a tank large enough for a whale to swim in.
I heard this tank is the biggest selling point here. And that it's the biggest in the whole world. Until Russia and America.
Is that so? That's amazing. It's really wonderful. It doesn't even look like a tank at all. More like they sliced off part of the sea with a knife and brought it here.
You're right. This really is a little sea. Despite its size, I hadn't thought of the tank as anything more than a tank. That's why I found her metaphor so interesting. No matter how far humans broadened their experiences, They always ended up viewing the world through the lens of their own values. Maybe that's why it's so interesting to interact with people who have different worldviews. I voiced my thoughts on this. She responded.
True, this may not be the real sea. But if those little guys swimming in there believe it's the sea, then that's what it is.
Is this some foreshadowing bullshit?
I feel like
Not
it is.
not exactly.
I feel like
It's
it's
like-
just explaining everything Battler's ever said.
It's like thematic across the series. I would
Yeah.
say.
Even though they're inside a finite tank.
The sea is finite too. Then again, even if the sea were infinite, how much could we cover in our whole lives? I'm sure it'd only be a minuscule fraction of the sea.
You're right. It's ironic, isn't it? Even though the world is so vast, most of us humans live our lives without even leaving our own country. If the inhabitants of a place believe they're living in a complete world, then even the bottoms of a narrow well can be a wonderful world, an entire ocean. At least to the frogs that live there.
Damn, calling the French that live in wells?
Jesus. Shannon, who spent her days as a servant on a small island 10 kilometers in circumference called Rokajima, said that with a smile.
Rokenjima.
Rokenjima. I realized that
I mean,
afterwards.
Rokenjima works too, I guess. It's just kind of enunciating differently.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Here we go.
Oh, already. Turn of the Golden Witch.
Alright.
It's actually now the third largest in the world because Russia, then Monterey Bay, then the Japanese one.
Ushiromiya Battler.
Still not
That's
big enough
me.
to keep away. Are you white?
That is you.
Oshiromiya Batoru.
Ushiromiya George, Jessica, and Maria.
High finger.
Oshiromiya Giorgio. Oshiromiya Jessica. Oshiromiya Mario.
Should probably quit that shit, man.
Ushiromiya
Who
Kinzo,
even-
Kraus, Ava, Natsuhi, and Hideyoshi.
I love being Ava.
Oh, hell yeah.
I love being
Hideyoshi.
I
Kinzo and
love
Kraus.
being Ava so much.
Ushiromiya Rudolph, Rosa, and Kyrie.
I also love being Rosa.
Oh, you're gonna get to do some Rosa shit soon, actually.
The format of these credits is really fucking suspicious.
Nanjo, Teramasa, Runaway Genji, Shannon, Kanon, Goda, Toshiro, and Kumasawa Chio.
Did you say Runaway Genji?
That's his name.
That's unfortunate.
Why? Beatrice.
You know.
You know,
Pronounces
Beatrice.
Runaway.
Beatrice.
You know, her.
Yeah.
Was
That's-
she wasn't in like the first episode one,
No,
was it?
absolutely not.
Yeah, but of course, you know.
Yeah.
She's still sort of there. But just not. One Day Crime 3. 7th expansion presents. Welcome to Rokenjima.
So wait, 7th expansion, just one guy?
Is it?
I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure it's a group of people.
But like almost all.
I know he's the writer.
But he's like he writes this and he does the art. It's the and like the background.
Music, I guess.
Too. Yeah, the music is like the only stuff in here that's not like done by Ryukishi. So
George.
yeah.
After we finished walking through the whole aquarium, we had a small late afternoon lunch at a restaurant with a nice view. The word buffet has the power to make any boy's heart leap.
I guess, George.
And my heart.
I feel kind of sick when I hear buffet, honestly.
I get so excited when I hear. If it's followed by all you can eat first, then I'm excited.
I'm pretty like indifferent, honestly.
Buffet, all you can eat?
I'm extremely indifferent towards
If
like
it's
the word
like-
buffet.
Buffet, but like it's one of those ones where you pick your food and then you have to pay by what you like picked up. That's like cheating.
Yeah.
I was like that myself once. Back in the old days. But with Shannon beside me, this buffet felt different.
Doctor.
I couldn't shamefully pile on only the things I liked.
Fuck, I gotta see mature for my girl.
I was, how should I put it, worried about my appearance and choose a menu suited for a snob.
Should say chose.
Yeah. Toast,
gamer.
salad, and coffee. He got
What?
toast?
Did you say? Oh,
Manga gamer.
Oh
Looking
yeah.
up our translation.
If I'd been by myself, I would have made a pile of oily stuff like yakisoba, mashed potatoes,
Rotten.
gratin, and so on. Mashed potatoes and yakisoba.
George is a little fucking nasty.
He's
actually.
kind of gross. He also got toast and salad.
Toastness.
I mean, like,
That's
a,
like-
a side of
George
toast.
is a little.
He just likes like tear it up when he has croutons.
He doesn't know how to eat.
George is a little dummy thick.
He is. Look at him.
What the fuck
Tomatake
does he-
Flash.
Wait, was George ex-military or something? Why the fuck does he have dog tags?
I have no idea.
They have like his like all of his allergies written on it and all the medications.
And then like the PS3 version, his sprite, he's wearing like a completely different outfit, except he still has the dog tag.
That's weird, actually.
Yeah, that's the only part that stays.
I tell you, it's all of his like allergies on it.
No Tamatake Flash, but he's got the dog tag.
Allergic to penicillin.
We should continue though.
Yeah.
Shannon, is that going to be enough for you? If it is, then I guess we men are animals with really bad fuel efficiency.
George just like says things sometimes.
He does.
That's not what I...
On Shannon's tray, there was only tea and salad. Maybe the mere fact that I thought she was a whole plate short proved I was thinking with a man's stomach. The fuck are you?
Actually, I should be asking you the same thing. Don't you think men should eat a little bit more than that? I imagine you normally eat much more for lunch, right?
Oh, right. Dang. Come to think of it, you already know how much I eat normally because of meals I've had at the head family's household.
Whoops.
That's right.
Didn't think that one through, huh, George?
Nice one, George.
So I was worried you might have an upset stomach today.
Shannon was kind enough to guess that I wasn't feeling well. Looks like my stupid attempt to show off made her worry. And apparently, my stomach wasn't going to let me show off any longer.
George, why so goddamn fat?
Yeah. Okay, I'll confess. I was just trying to look cool. I held back just because I was with a girl.
I thought so. Considering how much you eat during lunch at the family conferences, I thought this wasn't nearly enough. Please, don't be so reserved, and feel free to go choose another dish.
It's not fair for only me to be embarrassed. What about you, Shannon? How will you be able to keep up with the Ushiromiya family workload on such a sparse diet? That's the word.
Shannon's too much like this, actually.
Shannon fell silent and blushed bright red. Apparently, I wasn't the only one showing off. When I realized that, my embarrassment disappeared completely. Oh, so that's not enough for you either, is it? Yeah, you usually eat a bit more than this for lunch.
A woman's stomach is made of magic, so this is enough.
Bitch.
These people just say things.
I had a double cheeseburger, a plate of pasta, and like a quesadilla for one meal today.
McDonald's run after this session.
No.
McDonald's run
No.
after the session, 5 McDoubles and 40 chicken nuggets.
Get the fuck out of my.
Y'all
like,
are crazy.
vicinity,
Y'all
actually.
wild.
I had that twice in a week.
She's lying her ass off, by the way. Shannon is, by the way.
Your
Oh,
name?
Shannon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've actually eaten that much. It's like, bitch, you were there.
Yeah, I was.
So, we've both been showing off to each other. Let's not hold back anymore, shall we? I smiled to show that I wouldn't make fun of her anymore and rose from my seat. After finally coming to Okinawa, it'd be a waste if we didn't eat some bitter melon. I'll go get some fried bitter melon or something. Shannon, come with me. Come on, come on. Shannon?
Yes.
Oh yeah, show
Hey,
like a little dog. Come here, Shannon. You want the treat? You want some bitter melon? Come on, get the treat.
Jesus, man.
That's a little fucked, but okay. To anyone watching us, we might seem like an incredibly charming and embarrassing couple.
Well, baby, what?
And then they throw rocks at you.
Fuck, George.
And then they throw rocks. Yeah, they stone you to death.
But it's only after becoming a couple that we realized. To us, this exchange of words is everything. Our entire world.
There's just like a person in the background there. Because all these backgrounds, I don't know if you guys know,
Yeah,
these are
fuck,
just real
there's-
photos
They just
that
put
are
a
just
bunch
like
of
filtered.
filters.
And you can just see there's like some dude there.
So
in the
that means that
background.
the actual mansion that Kenji was based on is out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I've seen a lot of pictures of them.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
This man is
You
actually
We're
just
not
went to
planning our
all you
vacation to
can eat.
go there.
Oh yeah,
Fucking
we were
God.
talking about doing that.
You guys
someday.
are
Go in
planning-
sight and go and look for the golden butterflies. Then chase after that shit.
You guys are planning a fucking vacation.
Well,
to
maybe.
Argentina?
I think we just talked about like one day this would be cool. I don't know if you were serious.
Let's do it, Scott.
I was sure. If
I'm
we go to
Johnny
Japan
Johnny.
one day,
They're doing it,
is
everybody.
it on an island?
I would think so, but maybe not.
Well,
Probably
look up images
Yeah.
of it again, and then see if there's a location.
I mean, it's
Maybe it's
possible all the
coastal.
like beach shots and shit are like from elsewhere, from the actual like mansion
Yeah.
stuff.
Hopefully, it's at least coastal.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be.
Anyways,
Where were we?
That's why, no matter how much everyone else stares at us with blank expressions, we never notice. Indeed, at this age, I finally understand the feelings of couples who want to endlessly flirt without any regards for their surroundings.
I thought for a second that like green shirt was actually, and that the guy in the background was actually that Tomotage Flash shirt George is wearing.
I was gonna
gonna
say
freak
it's
out.
Flash. I mean, fuck, it's George.
Yeah.
After I returned with a plate piled up with fried food, Shannon arrived with a pretty cake.
Damn.
While laughing at our fake stoicism, we resumed our lunch.
It's nowhere near the beach, actually.
Really?
Oh, that's sad.
Where is it?
It's just a rose garden.
Oh, Stella.
What does that mean?
I could fuck
Let's check.
That's me.
Yeah.
Probably you.
Even though it's a restaurant with a view of the sea, it's so cloudy. Luckily, our window seats gave us a view of the seaside scenery, so grandiose that it extended even beyond our fields of vision. However, because of the cloudy sky, we were only seeing a fraction of its usual beauty.
Typhoon warning.
Well, I think this is a little while before that.
Wait, what?
This is like, in the past.
Shut up, Scott.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I think I know which ones.
Probably the first one
Yep.
is Shannon.
That's right. If it were clear, we'd undoubtedly see a deep blue sea.
Yep, I'll bet you're already used to the seas around Rokenjima, but the deep blue of the sea here would surely have been a sight to see. It's a real shame.
Oh, but no matter how blue the sea is at work, it might as well be gray to me. But I'm not working today, so,
Apparently, Shannon was doing her best to say an embarrassing line, but I didn't let her get off easy. So close. If only you'd say, when watching the sea alone with you, George Sama, it looks deep blue no matter how gray it is. I'd have given you full marks and a prize.
I'm sorry.
Want to hear what the prize was?
Whips out penis.
George's tiny micro dick?
If you don't mind telling me.
No. I won't tell you.
Fuck George.
What a piece of shit.
That's no fair.
When I was in elementary school, I was always the kid who got bullied.
Yeah,
of course
I
you
bet.
did.
Became the
Fucking-
bully.
I'd bully him.
Fuck.
When everyone teased me, I grew nervous and speechless to the delight of the bullies. Back then, I wondered why everyone teased me, because you're kind of a jackass. But now teasing Shannon like this, I understand.
Maybe all
why.
those bullies had a crush on
We should stop roasting George, please.
him. Yeah.
This is so
Especially
much
when we're
fun.
talking about how he got bullied in the past. Okay.
I can play with her emotions however I please. And I can have them all to myself. Right now, I can't think of any greater pleasure.
Red flag, red flag,
This is
red
why
flag.
we bully him. That's why I have to go easy on her. I'm not as though I want to make her feel embarrassed and upset. So I decided it would be a nice change. It would be nice to change the subject.
How it works.
Best not to be too obstinate. So bad.
Forgot he was wearing that outfit.
Oh, god damn it.
God, it's cursed.
I hate his cardigan. When you're finished your when you finished your lunch, do you want to take a walk on the beach? Maybe the clouds will clear up and we'll get a beautiful view of the sea.
That's right. I want to go see it.
See it. Yeah, let's do it. But that cake really does look delicious. Maybe I'll go get one of those too.
You mustn't. If you eat cake after eating so much, you'll get fat.
Honestly.
It looks like Hideyoshi-sama's blood is pretty...
Whoa.
You...
Sorry, my bad. I said that. But hold on.
Alright. We'll just edit it out.
It looks like Hideyoshi-sama's blood is pretty thick in you, George-sama.
Yeah.
So you'll get chubby if you don't take care.
Fuck.
Hideyoshi thick as fuck and I love him, alright?
Not only is she calling George thick, she's calling his dad thick. Fuck.
And their blood's thick. Thick in the blood.
Shannon, you wouldn't stop liking me if I get fat, will you?
It's a little late for that one. It's like there's a whole like meme about George being fat.
George is a little fat.
After all, I wouldn't stop liking you if you got fat.
I didn't mean it that way. If you don't take good care of your body, it'll be bad for your health.
Mother warns me all the time, too. I wonder if I'll have to take up Tai Chi Kwa. Yeah, or something like she does, and get some exercise.
When going on a diet, it's better to start by rethinking your eating habits rather than just exercising all the time. Apparently, the exercise only helps if you're eating well first.
In other words, you're telling me to hold off on the cake, huh? Then I guess I'll just have to gaze at you while you stuff your cheeks with it, Shannon. Oh, he's got a feeding kink.
I have a feeling he's gonna be stuffing some other
He's a
cheeks later on that
feeder.
night.
Oh my god, I want to beat you with something.
We're not roasting George, remember?
he's thinking about stuffing someone else's cheeks with somebody else.
No, we didn't.
He did.
Oh, Jesus.
Going on.
A whole cake is probably too much. But maybe just half one would be okay. Here, it's really delicious.
Shannon cut her own cake and tried to move half to my dessert plate. I had no doubt that she wanted to share the delicious cake's flavor with me. However, I merely pulled my plate away from her. She blinked in surprise. She couldn't seem to figure out if I was refusing the cake or not.
Couldn't. Oh, and
So I winked, opened my mouth, and said,
This guy needs to settle down.
a whole cake in his mouth.
So that's what you really wanted. Sheesh, you're such a pampered child, George-sama.
She's gonna do the thing. Yes! Hi, Shannon.
Okay, say ah.
like no other character does this.
No, yeah.
Where they just like zoom in on there. I don't know why.
With a partly embarrassed, partly exasperated face, Shannon offered the cake to me with a fork.
Boy.
Chomp. It tasted like a cheap chocolate cake you might find anywhere. And yet, it was exceptional. Because eating cake is in such an embarrassing way, as if we were a couple of perfect fools, had been my dream for many years.
Good taste.
It made this cake's flavor heavenly.
George is kind of a fucking weirdo.
He really
Like I know,
is.
I'm sorry, I know we're not supposed to roast him, but I just like fuck.
Can we keep proceeding?
No,
Why though?
I don't accept that.
If the earth is destined to end, I wouldn't have any regrets if it happened right now. It
Careful
was
what you
such
wish
a
for,
moment
my
of
guy.
bliss.
We on that title screen now?
No, you're on the fucking beach, my guy.
After that, we gathered shells, ran from the waves, and enjoyed each other's company while walking along the beach. In the end, the clouds never parted. However, we both believed that the sea reflected in our eyes was a deep blue.
Somehow, I'm so happy that it scares me.
You do say that from time to time. What is it you're afraid of?
I'm a servant of the Ushiromiya family. For someone like me to be walking like this with a member of the family, it just felt like it was too much for me.
I'm also surprised. I didn't just meet you yesterday or today, Shannon-chan. We've known each other for years now. However, we can only meet during those family meetings that only happen a few times a year. Back then, I couldn't even imagine having that sort of relationship where I could spend time with you like this. It was the same for you too, right?
I did imagine it. No, I mean, maybe I should call it a kind of daydream. I did think about what it'd be like being in a relationship with you, a boy who was always so gentlemanly and considerate. Though it was only ever a fantastic daydream.
Then we must have your believing heart to thank for our relationship. Magic dwells in the power of love. So I'm sure that magic brought us together.
You're right. I really do think it was magic.
But, you know, that's not actually true.
Oh, fuck off.
As you keep looking more and more beautiful every year, you become a larger and larger presence in my mind, too. And the same things happened to you. Then the fact that we're here today is simply an inevitable consequence, rather than something caused by magic or a miracle.
No, a miracle did happen. George-sama.
She stopped walking down the beach, gazing out beyond the sea. A miracle?
No, it was magic. It happened.
I was bewildered by the slightly mysterious phrase, which I sometimes heard her use. Magic, you say?
Yes, magic. I doubt you'd believe me if I explained, so I won't. But this bit of magic definitely had the power to grant the miracle that brought us together.
Are you talking about some kind of ritual?
Yeah, you might call it something like that. Except that it really was magic, not just some ritual.
Maybe it's all girls, not just Shannon, who tend to treat encounters as miracles or coincidences. For a man like me, an encounter with a girl is 70% hard work to try and make her like you, 20% courage, and 10% confidence.
I was just thinking that.
Percent concentrated power of will.
100% reason to remember the name.
You should owe me a George.
I'll never remember that name.
I don't think I'll ever forget him.
Me neither.
I wish I could. The part that means everything to her is a much smaller factor in my mind. Maybe that way of thinking itself is calculating the typical of men.
Yeah, you know, the reason is the male trait, and emotion is the female trait. Yeah.
I want to fight someone. But if I said that out loud, it might dissolve any kind of magic. To my mind, there were lots of coincidences, compromises, and expended efforts on both sides before we gained the relationship we have today. At the accumulation of all that, we get to spend this joyful time together. And if she wants to call that magic, I've got no objections to her choice of words. So, I'll stand up for that magic. You're right. If the same fate were repeated 100 times, maybe you and I could get into a relationship like this only one of those times. In the other instances, even though we'd be aware of each other, maybe we would have only maintained a reserved relationship after all this time. From the perspective of those other me's and you's, you and I are undoubtedly in a miraculous relationship right now.
That's not what I meant. It really was magic. No matter how often you tell men something like this, they'll never believe it. Didn't believe me at all either.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, swooping in behind her. I believe you. I'd hate for the magic to fade away because I didn't believe in it.
George-sama.
In a small voice, I apologized for saying something that trivialized her magic. Shannon seemed to be glad to hear me say that. After all, if two people believed in the magic of love, it becomes eternal. Oh, that's right. I was wondering if you'd be willing to agree to a little whim of mine.
Yes? What is it?
You call me George-sama, right? It's not that I dislike it, but would you considering me not calling me that anymore?
Call me Daddy instead.
I'm gonna beat you right now. Of course, you have to keep up with your appearance with the Ushiromiya family, so I wouldn't force you to do so during your everyday routine at Rokenjima. But, when we're alone, I'd rather you don't call me that.
Me too, Scott.
Well, actually, I just have a little bit of
Yeah.
chest pain right now.
Let's make that a rule.
Okay.
That's why I was touching my arm.
A rule? What would happen if I violated that rule?
Maybe we should have some kind of punishment game if you break the rule.
So,
My skin is falling off. Yes. What should it be? Wanna hear?
Looks out penis.
No, I don't want to hear.
Oh, thank God.
This is all kinds of fucked up.
I'll have to think about what it should be.
Okay. George, son.
Yeah. I love the way that sounds.
I think you guys
I'm
are making
so
this creepier than it
happy
is,
that
actually.
That's fair.
I also have another name. It's Sayo.
I see. The rules gotta be fair, after all. I'll follow it too, and from now on I'll call you Sayo. Okay. Sayo?
Yes?
I held her shoulder and drew her close. When I forcefully pulled her delicate body towards me, she dove into my chest like a doll. As I held her head in my arms, we both looked at the horizon. What a beautiful blue sea. I'm so happy we got to look at it. At this sea. Just the two of us.
Me too. I'm so glad to have a chance to look at this deep blue sea with you.
As we gazed at the gray sea, and the light rain began to sprinkle down, we kept listening to each other's heartbeats.
Okie dokie.
Literature club.
No, literally, Doki Doki is like the Japanese
I know.
onomatopoeia of heartbeat.
I know.
Doki doki. Oh, right. I think that's you, actually.
All right.
That's Shannon.
The sound of waves flows into my ears. No, it's the sound of an enraged sea. My body, bathed in painfully cold splashes, does not allow me to forget. It won't let me forget the memories of the day my old fate was broken and smashed. Once, tomorrows were literally like looking into a mirror. All I ever saw there was the person I already was. Tomorrow was absolutely no different from today. That was my old fate. But then, for the first time, I saw a different fate beyond the mirror. The witch whispers to me. She tempts me to take a bite out of the fruit of knowledge.
Tastes good.
She torments me, saying I'll be furniture as long as I stay in God's paradise. So I decide to choose the path of knowing love and try to become a person.
You're doing
You were
it.
just wet.
This is the stance.
Those days were like sweet honey. But at the time, I didn't realize it'd be the start of a new kind of suffering. I've arrived at a small island on a motorboat I've only just learned how to use. No, this can hardly be called a small island. It's little more than a rock jutting out of the water. On this rock is a torii and a small shrine. It was probably built to worship the guardian deity of Rokenjima. Even though I don't know exactly what it signifies, I know that it has to be something holy. Even in a place like this, I've got to take just one more look around to see if there's anyone who might get mad at me for coming. I see nothing but the stormy ocean, Nijima looming in the distance, and the waves breaking against Rokenjima's steep cliffside. I ready myself, timidly approach the small shrine, and take the mirror that lies there as an offering. The mirror looks so old, cloudy, and dirty. That would probably make any normal mirror seem horribly cheap. However, since the mirror has been placed in this small shrine, its appearance seems to give some sort of divine quality to it. And there's one thing I can tell. This is no simple mirror. It may seem like an old, battered mirror to a non-believer like myself, but it has a great significance. Is it really okay to break this after being captivated by honeyed words? No, this isn't really a mirror. This is the life I couldn't escape until today. My fate. I'll break it. I'll smash it and seize the life that lies beyond this mirror. If I don't smash it, my life will be a pair of facing mirrors forever. Nothing will ever change in the slightest. The witch whispers to me. She tempts me to take a bite of the fruit of knowledge. Or maybe I've already tasted that fruit. After all, I've already experienced those maddening emotions. Just as Adam and Eve felt compelled to pluck their fig leaves, I can no longer go on without breaking this mirror. I've struggled with conflicting emotions for many days before this moment. Inside my heart, the virtuous part of me kept on fighting the part that sides with the witch. And now, here I am. Did the part of me that's here right now win or lose? There's only one thing I know. To obtain something, you must be ready to lose something. Cowards who don't risk anything, who never try to change anything, will never be given the key that opens the path to a new future. That key is already in my hands, and that key is to break this, to smash it. Is there any other effort I can make as furniture imprisoned in Rokenjima? No. This is the only way for me. Come, have courage. I'll free myself from being mere furniture. And by accepting a new kind of suffering, I'll become human. This is surely a small, yet large trial I must impose on myself. Come on, smash it. I'll smash it to pieces, the eternally unchanging fate that imprisons me. I raise the mirror high. I think back on the days of conflict that came before. And, finishing my reflections in the blink of an eye, I throw it down.
Oh, no mirror break?
The thunder roars, crying out against me for my outrageous act. It truly is the hatred of angels trying to banish me from eternal paradise. I look down at the mirror tumbling at my feet, broken in 2 equal parts. And after making sure I've accomplished my task, I scream up at the raging skies. I've kept my promise!
Jesus.
Now, it's your turn to keep yours, right?
Jesus.
Thunder roars once more. I've already been banished from paradise, so I'll have to struggle on my own if I want to live. The witch told me. That is the single element of this world. To lose it means losing the world. Like how a canteen with the hole in the bottom can't be filled, no matter how much water you pump into it. I've kept my promise. Now it's your turn to keep yours. Please, grant my wish. Beatrice Summer!
Oh.
That was cool, man, I guess.
I tried, all right.
Io